And you know, a lot of this talk on TCG really got us thinking about some amazing collectibles, and our crow brains love to collect cow brains. Oh man, it's been a day. Our crow brains love to collect. Rather, if it's trading cards or Beanie Babies, everyone has something that they love to stockpile, like it's milk and bread in a southern snowstorm. Or, yeah. Anyways, a little bit of flashbacks there to February, right?
Yeah,
Sorry.
you're like, it's snowing. Grab the
What's
milk and
going
bread.
on? Where are Ted
Where are
Cruz's
the milk
daughter? Save
sandwiches?
me! You know. So this week we wanted to give you our top 10 coolest collectibles, and I'm kicking us off with number 10, which is going to be Pez dispensers. Yeah, so Pez dispensers. This was a controversial pick, mostly because like the number 10 pick always boots something off that really could probably be on here as an honorable mention, and we'll talk about a lot of those at the end. But these wacky sweet dispensers, Pez, sweet dispensers of Pez have been popular since they were invented in 1927. But did you know that some of the older, rarer dispensers are bona fide collectibles? The Pez collecting community is alive and well, and the rare Pez dispensers can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars on eBay. These collectibles dispensers are often featured of the heads of popular characters of the time,
Yes.
sculpted in plastic such as Mickey Mouse or Darth Vader. The most expensive Pez dispenser, however, doesn't feature a popular character at all. Instead, the dispenser is crowned and sculpted with the head of an astronaut. The most expensive Pez dispenser is the 1982 World Fair's Pez dispenser and is believed to be an extremely rare promotional item. In fact, it is only two are currently known to exist. One features a blue stem and an astronaut with a matching blue helmet. The other featuring a green stem and a white helmet, and at one point was on sale for $100,000. Most recently resurfaced
Wow.
on eBay in 2006 and sold for 32,000. That's a steep drop off. It's
Yeah.
$32,000.
Mm.
Unfortunately, not
I think at one point Pez may have been
right.
hotter.
Yeah, yeah. Unfortunately, not every old Pez dispenser from your collection is going to bring in the dough, unless you were lucky enough to save one that's super rare. But that isn't it the case with like most collectibles? Isn't that how the cookie crumbles
Like
in that? Yeah,
kind
it
of a
is kind
game.
of the game
Yeah.
for sure, for sure. Um, so I know
Yeah.
this was a weird pick on here, guys. I do know that the astronaut one goes for a lot, but I know that Santa Claus one is one as well that goes for oogles and oogles of money, and it's just literally fuck. You'd think that there's a bunch of Santa Claus Pez dispensers, but
There's a Darth Vader one that came out
mhm.
as a promotion that's like a $4,000 or five thousand
Yeah,
dollar one, and it's just crazy to think of like a little Pez dispenser that like we've probably owned and thrown
right.
away already as a kid, like, and so that those fetch such a high price. But you should know there's literally a market for everybody for everything.
Right.
You know,
Yeah. They're
Yeah. One man's
welcome to
trash
the
is another
internet.
man's treasure.
Take a look
exactly.
around.
Exactly.
That's gonna be in your head all day,
Right.
isn't it?
But that isn't even by
Yes.
far the weirdest one we have on this countdown. In fact, number 9 is much weirder. And like Cape himself, he's going to be doing this next one. So, belt buckles. Tell us why belt buckles makes number 9 on the countdown, Cape. Tell us why belt
Well,
buckles
if you're weird
beat
like
out
me,
so many of these other ones, Cape.
well, this one is me specific. If you guys know me, I have belt buckles, and yeah, my eyes are up here. Um, but for all you cool cats and kittens, I've done this since high school. Yeah, I've done
Mhm.
it since high school, and I have probably like 30 or 35 in
Right.
my collection. And I really like them because I like to show my geekiness. It's like Dod's hats. Like I like to show my geekiness, but I don't like to be too loud. But some of my prized ones are I have a Tron Legacy light cycle with an identity disc when Tron
Oh,
Legacy came
nice.
out. Looks pretty
Hi.
freaking awesome. It looks like that one going the wrong way. It looks like that one right there on there. I've actually gotten some custom made for where I worked at. So like I got a NASA one when I worked at the Space and Rocket Center. And another unique one I have was I have a Mountain Dew one, and if you looked really close, it's that one in that thumbnail right there. It has little tiny bat symbols around it, so when the Dark Knight came out, you could win
You
like when
literally
you're
put
drinking Voltage.
your favorite belt buckles on the image, didn't you? Yeah.
I did. I did.
You did, yeah.
And then also, I didn't
Number
take a picture
9's
of
for
them, I
Cape,
just searched
guys.
for 'em online. Yeah, definitely. But still, like, they're very unique. I like them because they can be very subtle. Like when I do photography
Mhm.
somewhere, I wear that one right there, the one that's the AE1
I just
Canon
imagine you walking around
camera.
now with your hands on your belt buckle everywhere you go. Like,
Well,
you
Well,
guys
I mean,
don't
you're the
look
one from
like you're
Texas, so
from
you should know about
around these
those.
parts.
I know. No,
No,
I get
like,
it though. I
Yeah.
used to collect, or I don't want to say collect. I really only had like 3 or 4 belt
Mhm.
buckles in like I think high school. I think I started.
Mhm.
I had a few back then
I
too.
went through
I
a
don't wear
phase
belts.
yeah.
where I wore everything that had a Fox logo on it, and I had a Fox belt buckle for a long time, like Fox the motorcycle brand thing. Yeah,
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 I remember. Yeah,
Ah, that's interesting. A
fucking
yeah. I
Fox.
hound
know,
dog.
right?
Oh, like
Right.
that's what I would collect, and I still wear them and stuff like that, and I have them all unique and whatnot, and they're like it's one of those
You
things
have
that
some
you don't know that's a
Etsy's
big world.
or
Somewhat.
Etnies? Did you have some Etnies with those Fox logo like all those Fox T-shirts? You
No,
have some
I was
Etnies
one of
on
the
with it
posts.
too.
Like, I
Did you?
had people that would comment on my Facebook pages like, "Do you ride motorbikes?" I was like, "What do you mean?" And like,
Yeah.
you're wearing
Did
Fox,
you
and I was like,
wait?
"And?" Like, I liked the shirt,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know.
I like Foxes.
Did you buy all of that then? I think that was the store
Yeah, something like that.
or Spencer's. I
No,
don't know.
it was
But anyway,
PacSun.
Son.
PacSun
that
was with the
is.
sun. Yeah.
Pack son.
Well, actually, I got some of my belt buckles from there.
See,
Ayo.
look, yeah,
Yeah,
So
Pack son.
boom.
Shouts out. I
yeah,
think they declared bankruptcy.
They didn't sell enough
yeah,
belt buckles, man.
probably like when Malls
You
did.
know, they
Probably when
clearly
Malls did.
didn't.
Cape,
But
you
anyways,
gotta keep them alive.
no, no. I remember actually I got one of my first ones from there. Actually, it was a Batman one, and like everyone wanted to give me a Batman belt buckle. They were like, "Oh," but I'm like, actually, I have a Joker one that's actually cooler. But anyways, that's number 9 in my genre, and that's probably the weirdest one we got here. So Jake, what do we got for number 8?
Yeah, this week at number 8, we have one that's probably a little bit more relatable. Vinyl
Yeah.
records. All those records of yesteryear aren't just being stored, they're being played too. And the fact that many music lovers are reverting to listening to records makes them all the more collectible. Some vinyl will be worth a lot, and other records will be worth only what you paid for it, and maybe even less. But adequately storing your record is essential, regardless. You never know which record may suddenly have a spike in value, but if you're like me, not everything's about resale value. Personally, I like to collect vinyls because of all the bonus content you get with them. Remember when you used to buy a CD and it would have a little booklet in it and it would come with like lyrics and a bunch of other stuff like who wrote the songs and all that shit? Well, thanks to the digital age, those things are like long forgotten. But with vinyl, it remains one of the best features of it. And so not only is the sound superior to some, but the additional artwork, lyrics, and plethora of other things that they include in most vinyl records make them well worth the
Yeah.
price, even if you don't ever plan to sell them in the future.
Yeah.
And so that's why vinyl makes number 8 on
I've
this
started
week's
actually
countdown.
collecting some vinyl records. I have the Black Parade by My Chemical Romance on vinyl, and a
Yeah.
copy of Masked Intruders, which is a crappy punk band.
Did you guys ever go to all music? Like we all went
Oh
to
yeah,
Alabama here.
Oh,
everybody went
Oz
to Oz
Music
Music.
is the
Yeah.
shit, man.
If
If
you
you weren't,
ever,
if you didn't go to Oz
if you
Music, you
ever,
weren't cool. Like, we didn't hang out, you know. Like,
well, like,
Yeah.
what was the thing? If we won a game, it was like 20% off or something ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
it
they
was
would,
like
yeah.
20.
They would run some cool promos. I used to love that store. Honestly, I think that's where I bought
I
some of my
bought
first
a
vinyls because I first got into
I bought a
vinyl in
Limp
college.
Bizkit Greatest Hits
And so-
Oh,
album from
nice.
them.
And
Limp
I
Bizkit's
did,
greatest
seriously.
hits.
Yeah.
Introducing
and if you notice, Jake,
chocolate
since I made the
starfish
thumbnail,
and the hot
you
dog
notice-
flavored water.
if
One
you
hundred
notice on the
percent.
thumbnail, Jake, I actually put the Lafa Papu.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh,
that's
yeah,
what I
yeah.
made his graduation cap with.
The Kanye album that I do own, well, I own 2 Kanye albums, is Dark Twisted
Mm-hmm.
Fantasy. Holy shit. That one has, Kanye came out with 6 different album arts
Yeah.
for that one, and he sent them to different stores. And so depending on where you were in the country, you got a different album art, you know, like than
Oh,
some other
wow.
places. And it was a really cool kind of a thing he did. But if you bought the actual vinyl, all of them were actually like in the thing printed out, and you could just pull them out and change it however you wanted, which was like this super cool thing. And like that one has a lot of extra artwork and everything in it. It's a gorgeous album with a ton of I mean, it's a beautiful album musically, and then a beautiful vinyl to own as well.
Yeah, and that one is your graduation cap
Yeah.
too.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
I love
You
I
seeing
changed
designed
it
it.
from Life of Pablo to Life of Debt, though, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it
Life
was
of Debt.
Life of Debt. Yeah, because
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
college.
just-
I'm still paying that off. That was
Just got
5 years ago.
college. Yeah.
But
Still
I
with
could have
that
paid it
poster.
off by now if I would have collected some shit for number 7. Tell us what number
Yeah,
7
number
has
7 is
got.
just Star Wars shit in general. And the reason Star Wars has its own
Paraphernalia.
paraphernalia, memorabilia, however you want to categorize it. But Star Wars is in a class of its own. People will fucking collect Wheaties boxes with Darth Vader on it, whatever the case may be, especially if you get stuff from the early Episode 4 release kind of situations. Star Wars is a cultural phenomenon that with its own holiday, and branded items are hot. The franchise toys are popular collectibles that are gaining in value. And if your Star Wars collection has a lot of items from the original trilogy, you could have a nest egg of close to $1 million, or at least you'll have toys worth money in the future. One fan got $505,000 for his Star Wars collection of 600 items, according to CNN.
Yeah.
Some items, however, were worth more than others. For example, a pristine multi-pack of 7 Star Wars action figures from The Empire Strikes Back sold for more than $30,000, 3 times its estimate, and a recalled Luke Skywalker toy sold for $25,000 on its own. So, meanwhile, Yak Face, a creature from Return of the Jedi, only sold for $7,000, and a Return of the Jedi Anakin Skywalker figurine sold for only $3,000. So some of these may be cheap ways to celebrate Star Wars, but some may be worth saving in the future. And that is also why I have just a bunch of Star Wars stuff that I collect.
Yeah.
One, I got this
Incubus,
shirt.
I want to give Incubus a
This
real.
this. Okay,
Incubus
what you
had
got?
the biggest. He said I sold all my 70s and 80s Star Wars memorabilia in a yard sale when I was a kid, and he did it because he wanted a Super Nintendo. Somebody said, "Was it worth it?" And he's like, "No."
Yeah,
But
no,
biggest
exactly.
move, because no lie, and it's funny that he commented that as you were reading that a bunch of Star Wars, sold for $500,000, from that time period. And so
This is my Star Wars collection, and I don't know if it's worth anything. I got a Lando Calrissian.
That does hurt.
Right?
Oh, that's dope.
Or something in your heart.
And
Oh, that's the DVD
the
box
original. Set. No, the VHS box
Oh, that's
set.
the VHS, the trilogy.
That's the VHS trilogy.
Oh, dude, that's hype.
That may be worth something.
That is
hype.
Hype.
Hopefully someday. I think I'm gonna be.
Oh.
That's how you know it. That's how you know it's real, right? That's how you know the real experience, right?
Dawson over here making it
Batman
fart.
1980 on VHS.
What?
Yeah.
Well, you could argue that Star Wars touches every
Fucking
one of these
VHS box.
categories.
Right, it does. It really, really does.
And that's the thing that makes it so unique, I think.
Yeah, it's involved in every single one of the categories that we talk about on the collectibles aspect. I'm sure there's a fucking Star Wars belt buckle out there for you, Cape, somewhere. 100%. And I think that as a franchise in itself, Pokemon definitely comes close because its merchandising is a pretty heavy part of its market and making it one of the biggest entertainment franchises in the world. But Star Wars, as far as the collectible aspect of it, and people fucking fighting kids for a broken Boba Fett toy with a fucking missile launcher in the back. I mean, the hype is real, and that's why it earned a number 7 spot on our countdown. But
I can see why.
Yeah, there's
should have been higher, but it's got some hard ones to beat.
It does have some hard ones to beat. There's a lot that goes into Star Wars. They've built up a franchise for a really long time. But speaking of building franchises, though, number 5 in the countdown is why not? Did we miss one? Oh no,
number 6.
Number 6 in the countdown, which is somehow out of order, is going to be Legos. Why are Legos in the countdown? Cape.
Number 5 on the countdown is Legos. Sure, Legos
6 on the countdown.
6. Sorry.
Yep.
Sure, they're considered playthings and whatnot, But in fact, the word Lego comes from the Danish word meaning let good. I can never say that right, which also
Hmm.
means play well. The companies, regardless of what people think of when they think of some collectibles, yeah, some Lego bricks are keys to marketing creations, and they're not much worth on their own. But if you have to know certain Lego sets, you could probably be in a load of cash. Like, I mean, everyone knows about the Millennium Falcon and stuff like that,
Right.
you know. But I mean, but also like it can go for hundreds and thousands of dollars. And
Savage in chat goes, little hell blocks for your feet.
mhm,
They are. They
yeah,
are.
true.
Yeah, they are. They've been
Yeah,
the bane of
definitely.
everyone's existence.
But they do the
Uh,
same thing that they cover so much in pop culture because everything can do a collab with Lego, and so
Right.
that makes so many Legos so valuable.
well,
Right.
that's actually what brought it back is that Legos were not anything like for a while, but when they started getting merged from like, college football, from,
Star Wars.
NFL, Star Wars, for Lord of the Rings, they touch when you see
Batman.
something that touches a lot of stuff, like my favorite
Yeah.
socks are Stance socks. They have all different kinds of brands. That tells you something that about that brand because you can get so much merch and trademark with it. It's pretty
Right.
interesting as but
Yeah.
but I mean,
So,
I find it pretty cool. So,
Lego sets coming in at number 6. I
do
mean,
you
I
have any
get it.
Legos?
I don't have a Lego set. I do not have those personally, but I will say that I have been to places where like I've gone in and into friends' rooms and they've had like the full Lego set that they're super duper fucking proud of, just as much
Mhm.
as I am when I don't know. I don't have anything that I collect that I think I really actually feel that as passionately as those guys did about.
Mhm.
Maybe some of my old Pokemon cards, maybe,
Yeah.
but
Mhm.
there's a lot of pride that goes there because it's not just a collectible that you honestly it's usually not one that sits in the box either, right? This is not a
Mhm.
collectible that people are just like, oh, this is gonna sit here on the shelf. People build it, and I think that that's
Yeah.
one of the things that really, to me, does make it stand out about it. Like Funko Pops stay in the box. Fucking there's a debate on whether or not Pokemon cards are worth more in the pack.
Yeah.
Probably a pack like this, it
Mhm.
might have been worth more as an unsealed pack. Um, so there's a debate, but with Lego sets, that is the one that people they actually build it, they set it up, and there is a engaging part of it. So it's not just a something that you collect, but it's something that you built too. You know?
Yeah. I think that adds to it too. It
Right,
adds a little bit of personal value in a way
right.
for
It
something that's
does. It
already
does.
super expensive.
Right. Well, speaking of something that's super expensive though and has personal value to you, Jake, number 5 in the countdown are sneakers. Tell us why sneakers make the countdown.
Yeah, so I mean, there's a huge market for first edition and limited edition release sneakers, which are traded almost like a form of currency sometimes. And as with bottles of wine, brand new or even gently used sneakers often go up in value over the years. This tends to be especially true for limited edition styles made by Nike or Adidas. What's new today may become more valuable in vintage item before long. Used original Nike Air Jordan 1s from 1985 can sell for $1,500. And a mint condition pair recently sold on eBay for $4,000. The original retail price, $65. So it's not just Jordans. Kanye's Red Octobers are one of the shoes that I've always wanted myself, and they sell for over $10,000 a pair. While popular limited release shoes like the ones pictured here, the Back to the Future Nike Air Mags, sell upwards of
Self-lacing.
$65,000. And so that's heavy. Uh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and boom, that's a Back to the Future joke. Anyway,
So
sneakerheads have become mainstream over the years, and more people join in the chaos that is drop culture. It doesn't look like that it'll be slowing down anytime soon. But with the artists and athletes dropping new shoes all the time, we've even got Satan shoes now by Little Nas X. So I mean, there's literally everybody is getting in on it, including the devil. And so
in
Yeah.
human blood, evidently, right?
But no, like I mean, sneakers in general have just become a huge part of the zeitgeist, especially within popular culture over the years. I think almost every rapper, athlete, celebrity, whoever might have you, influencers or whatever, like the rich people that we're supposed to care about, all of them are wearing some type of cool sneaker these days. And I've always just loved sneakers because I'm a shoe guy. I like different outfits, I
Oh
like
my
different
gosh.
shoes, and so
Yeah, Littlest Nelly in chat said the Nike Shox recalls that I had in middle school are selling for $150K on eBay.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
You'd be
crazy.
shocked at some shoes, what they sell for, and what like. I mean, there's some shoes that are like they're invaluable in a way. Like recently, Kobe Bryant's wife actually had done a collabo with Nike for Kobe and their daughter, and like that shoe was only supposed to be a concept. And somehow somebody got one of them, and so like she like kind of got like mad about it. There was a whole like stink on it about the internet this past week, but it's one of those things where like the guy who bought it, he was like, I just bought it resale. You know what I mean? Like I didn't know that like, you know, Kobe Bryant's wife, Vanessa Bryant, wouldn't want this kind of like sold or anything like that. And how it got out of the Nike factory, people really don't know, and that hasn't been like found out yet. But it's crazy that now like somebody out there has basically what is just a pair of one shoes made for Kobe Bryant and his daughter that like no one else will ever own. And so that's an invaluable piece of like, you know, like how you said, like what that's going to sell for when it eventually sells is going to be stupid, you know?
Yeah,
And
no, for real.
So sneakers all over the place. And that's why they're number 5.
So did you just do it for kicks or what?
You just want to make that joke the whole time.
Yeah,
you've been
really
sitting there
holding
just
that one, didn't you? Like
you
his
see the
mustache was
vein
tingling
popping
the whole time. That was
right.
like, Kate, make it now.
No, but I find it very interesting as a whole. I mean, just because it's something that, what is it? Like when designers design a building, they're said to make a chair because it's supposed to not stick out so much. But you've seen many people design their own shoes. And it's
Right.
very interesting what different artists will design their own shoes as, and like not only looking good, but also like what brand would they go with and stuff like that. And I mean, I see the ones in the background that you have. I mean, it's very interesting.
Yeah.
Mostly Jordan.
I mean,
that's what I fucks with. But that's why sneakers made number 5 on the countdown. Number 4 is another one that's actually behind me. They're just probably harder to see. Can you tell the people what number 4 is on the countdown, Doc?
Yeah, that's comic books, right? The thing with comic books is that even the most minor defect can impact the value tremendously. I think I have. Did I hang up that one? I don't think. Oh yeah, I did. No, so that is my prized possession actually. Let's see if I can take it off the wall here.
quick, everyone talk bad about Don.
It's an interactive episode.
Perfect. Here we go.
Interactive.
Do what?
Show and tell.
Oh shit. Okay, my bad, gal.
Oh, no, I just
y'all
meant,
y'all
like,
liked it anyways.
This is show and tell. The
Oh,
ass was
okay.
fat. That's fine. I'm just,
Oh, okay. I was just making sure. Did it look nice? Just want to make
we
sure.
weren't even commenting on that. I was just saying, show us the comment.
So this is my prized possession here as far as comics go. This is the Judas Contract. This is the first appearance of Nightwing, and the original origin story of Deathstroke. His wife shot him in the eye. Haha, that's how he get it. But anyways, that's my prized possession. I think it's worth $350.
Hey,
So
In your heart, it is
for a comic.
priceless.
that's
for
like
a comic, that's a pretty good price.
like a
That's
300% increase on the.
Yeah. Yeah, so that is look, Savage loved it. Yeah,
I mean, I like it a
he's
lot,
going
too.
Savage is going crazy on it. So
Yeah.
I think
It's
that
fine.
just because your comic collection might contain some rare vintage copies doesn't mean it's guaranteed that it's worth $1 million. You have to take into account additional factors when you're buying or trading comic books. For example, you should figure out your comics' marketability. Comics with classic covers or first appearances are typically more valuable. Sure, comics might be for reading, but try to tell that to an avid comic book collector. The main rule of thumb: sticky hands off mint conditions can be worth sticky hands off of mint conditions as mint conditions can be worth millions. Oh,
Yeah.
there we go. Got that sentence out. Jesus Christ. For instance, a 1938 copy of America Comics #1 sold for sold in 2014, sold for $3.21 million on eBay. Action Comics #1 featured the first appearance of Superman and cost 10 cents when it debuted. In addition to being vintage, the comic is rare. Only 100 or so copies exist. In fact, any first edition of a comic book series could be worth serious monies.
Yeah.
To go from 10 cents to $3.21 million
That's a good investment.
That's a
Yeah.
good investment. That's a real good price increase. I'll tell you that much for
Well,
sure.
like I remember when that happened, the guy found it in his basement and it was in a cool dark place. And I didn't realize how much like stuff has changed since then because like we went through World War II and we had to get rid of paper. And then, like he kept it in a cool dark place, which is the perfect condition. There's just a bunch of how convenient stuff to
Yeah.
go with
Right.
it.
No,
But
have you guys ever heard the tale of Nick Cage's first edition? Nick Cage bought an Action Comics #1 on a market. Like I think he paid over $1 million for it. I think he paid 1.5 or 2 or something like that. Had it in his house, and someone broke in and stole it, and it was missing for years. Then someone found it in a storage building, like literally like someone's storage, like the storage wars type people that buy those storage sheds whenever like people don't pay rent on them. A guy
Right.
did that, opened them up, found a bunch of vintage comic books, and one of them was the Action Comics #1,
Oh
and
my
he
God.
knew that's not right. Like, there's no way this comic would be sitting in here. And so, like, he like after doing some digging, they were able to trace it back, and that was Nick Cage's stolen Action Comics 1. And so now the Cage has it back, and so
There you
well,
go.
he did steal the
all good
Declaration of
things.
Independence though. So
It was only
He
karma.
steals the Declaration of Independence and then loses Action Comics #1. Priorities.
Yeah.
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 Well, like
saying.
I
also
think
the
the
thing about
Action Comics #1's more valuable personally, but
It
whatever.
is. That's what I'm saying. Priorities, right? I mean, like if the Declaration of Independence has already been trampled on by every politician that's walked through the Senate. So like that aspect has already been devalued to shit,
Yes, you're
right?
right.
But Action Comics #1, that still got some good value on it. They're
It still holds up.
$3.21 million. I think that still holds up.
Yeah. Well, like I already told this to Dodd, but Jake, do you actually know what the newest comic that's worth the most?
The
Like,
newest comic that's worth the most money.
yes. Well, like last time I checked it,
Oh man,
The Walking Dead.
really? The Walking Dead?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I remember you told me about this earlier when we were
Mm.
doing this stuff because when I was doing the images, that's why I included The Walking Dead in there. That's
Yeah, it's
the
like
most
released in
expensive comic right
2013,
now.
2003. I'm
Yeah.
sure something else has beat it, but last time that's what I remember because it's worth so much because it became so hype so
Yeah.
fast and people want to.
Comics are a lot like, I mean, there's a lot of like I think the value of comics like The Boys have went up since The
Yeah.
Boys came out, and like the value of Preacher and like other comics like that, they obviously sell for more
Right.
after pop culture kind of like something big comes out with them, right? And so
Oh yeah.
and I think the whole superhero resurgence, or I don't want to say resurgence, but like, when I was a kid, our superhero movies were essentially like Christopher Reeve's Superman from the 80s. And
Right.
then Tim Burton gave us Batman in the 90s.
Hmm.
And we had the zany kind of Batman shit. This whole like Marvel
And it got
cinematic-
worse as it got older.
Yeah.
Like you started off with the good one in '89. And it was like, oh, this is great. This
They
is
only got
fantastic.
bad.
And then you got to the one that's '93. It's like, this is not as good as the first, but it's pretty good because Tim Burton's still doing it. And then it got just
progressively shit the bed. Yeah.
right.
And so
You had Val Kilmer, and you just had terrible
So
direction.
I would say it's a resurgence, but like I think that's made comics even more popular these days and even more valuable. Is just people being into the characters even more so.
Yeah,
Right.
definitely. And then just like how they're timeless in a way. And I mean, if anyone wants it, if you, what is the old saying? If
Yeah.
anyone will put, money on what they want. I forgot
Yeah.
exactly the quote. You get it.
Well, like broken
Yeah,
movie
no.
quotes. Broken
Yeah, speaking of broken parts from movies, number 3 on the countdown, Cape, is movie props. Tell us why movie props makes number 3 on the countdown.
Well, to earn at least $1 million from a movie collectible, you must own it first, which might be a bit difficult, but these things are highly sought after. For example, cult films such as Wizard of Oz or Star Wars might impact from this because they may die suddenly. It's kind of like an artist in a way. Stuff gets more value when the person's dead and so on and so forth. And was it screen used? Was it the hero prop and so on and so forth? But take, for example,
Gotcha.
the Cowardly
Yeah.
Lion from Wizard of Oz. In Casablanca, for example, the costume sold for $3 million at Boehm's Turner Classic Movies auction, and the Casablanca
Right.
piano sold for $3.4 million, according to Hollywood Reporter. And since there's someone that really cashed out on Harrison Ford's, his blaster from Star Wars, you know, like it sold for upmost, what was it, 550,000? But like I collect some movie props. I have like
See, that's what
none of them
that's
are
what I'm saying. Star
used.
Wars needs to be higher on this list because again, Star Wars making it up here on the movie props list too.
True, but like it's just like it's
500.
interesting what people will see as value on that. Like,
Yeah.
and now that we have 3D printers, people are printing props left and right. I have like a
Yep.
Gotham City police badge, the one that
Yeah.
the dog actually put on there. I have like a plate from Back to the Future that says "out of time," but like people
Is
will put
Wilson
money on
behind
what
me?
they want.
Which you got, Jake? You're pointing at something.
I was like, is Wilson behind me? Can you see him over there?
Yeah, Wilson's behind you. Yeah, I managed to loop a lot of things in here with this
Yeah.
image. Okay, I'm pretty proud of myself with this one.
Yeah,
Okay.
I just named off random stuff, and he just put all kinds of stuff. He did a good job.
Yeah.
But like,
No.
it's very interesting now that movie props are becoming more high quality because
Yeah,
we're getting
they are.
higher quality on. We can actually see like Gandalf's stick is not just a glorified stick, you know. Like, but back in the day when it was hard to see, it was probably
Yeah.
like,
Look
you
at
know.
that. That's pretty good quality.
I can wear it, but I'm not gonna put it on right now.
Right.
But yeah, like I mean, they're making them pretty good. I want to buy the actual. They're coming out with a new gauntlet that you can snap.
Yeah, that would be
Yeah.
cool.
That.
Infinity Gauntlet.
Hasbro Dark has been stepping its shit up. I don't want to like. This is already the fucking like Goblin Capitalist Cock episode. So if I
Right.
can give another shout out.
The Goblin
Hasbro
Capitalist Cock. Man, why didn't you pitch that as the title for the episode?
Oh man, because Twitch would have flagged us.
Right.
But
Goblin
nevertheless-
Capitalist Cock.
I think it's very interesting how certain people will collect either screen used or not screen used, and like people who end up printing what they really appreciate. If you've ever delved into like, it's kind of like cosplay. You reach a point where you go, I want to make that, or I want to have that. Like, there's such
Right.
craftsmanship, it's insane, and it's very admirable. But number two is not very much craftsmanship, but it really touches a lot of universes. So what we got for number two, Jake?
Yeah, number two in this week's countdown is Funko Pops. And if you've never heard of Funko Pops, just dive into the nearest group of kids or collectors and ask them for an explainer, and they'll give it to you.
Yeah,
what
or
you'll
just
hear-
go into any like comic shop or,
Yeah.
or any nerd's apartment now. Like, who is a nerd that does not have a Funko Pop? Like,
Exactly.
I'll make sure.
What you'll hear is that Pops are cool vinyl toys that depict celebrities or characters from both the real life and pop culture. While many Funko Pops are mass-produced, others are made in very small quantities and usually available only at toy fairs, Comic-Con events, and other things. Some of the rarer figures have netted staggering returns. A Chewbacca figure released at Comic-Con in San Diego in 2011 recently fetched $2,700 on eBay. Based on the usual retail price of $20, that's about a $13,000
It's fucking insane.
13,000%, increase. And so, but for me, same with vinyl and a few other things. It's not all about profit, right? Funko Pops, made it to number 2 on the list for more than just being, able to resell sometimes, I guess. Their reason Funko Pops are so high is because there is probably a pop for literally everything on this
Yeah.
list. Star Wars, there's a pop for it.
Yeah.
Movies, comics, musicians, athletes, if it's a thing, there's a fucking Funko.
Yep.
And so there's almost no other collectible that spans so many genres and mediums and is able, to do it in a cohesive art style, right?
Yeah.
All of the products look the same, have the same branding and everything, but they all come from different backgrounds. And so I love my wall of Funko Pops. You can see a little bit of them. My camera's a little low or whatever, and I have some even above me right now. I've got them all the way from Marshawn Lynch to my personal favorite Yusuke Urameshi with the fucking finger bang. And so, I mean, there's a reason why Funkos are so high, and I think it's because there's just so many different ones of them,
All right, 2 of my favorite Funkos. I think I've shown this one on stream before. As King of Shit Rick.
King of Shit Rick.
I got this one. I think for Christmas from one of my cousins actually. And then this one's always been a cool one. It's a bobbleheaded Rocket Raccoon one.
I love
And
the
it's
bobblehead
got,
ones. Funko started
like-
with bobbleheads.
Right. It's got
They
this
did?
like jetpack thing in the back, so he like sits. He's
Yeah.
flying. So I thought that was a really interesting one. So
Yeah, Funko started with bobbleheads. That's why they look the way they do. See, this is my Yusuke one. I love Urameshi.
yeah.
There's not enough Yu Yu Hakusho merch, and I'm gonna bitch about that just real quick. Not enough Yu Yu Hakusho stuff.
You would love to collect it if you could, but you can't.
Oh yeah, no, I'd buy more. I'd buy more if they had it. But like, I guess since it came out in the early '90s or late '80s or whatever, there's just not as much hype around Yu Yu Hakusho. But Yu Yu Hakusho, one of the best animes ever made, and
It's one of those sleeper picks.
And
Like
so the fact that
everyone
Funko
does love Yu Yu Hakusho. Everyone knows it's foundational and just
Tom
like
showed it to you in the, you know what, Toonami,
Right.
You saw it.
you saw it, you knew what it was. You might not have known the name, but you knew what it was. You were like, oh, it's you with the it's got the guy with the green, and then there's the rose guy, right? And he just the dude, all that stuff.
Well,
And people knew about it.
I find it very interesting what's popular so quickly, so fast. Like the fact that those sold so fast and Funko started in 2010, it's just insane.
Yeah, no, it obviously, the popularity of them, given the almost more like it's a newer brand. It's not Lego. You know what I mean? Legos has been around for fucking before me.
Oh my gosh, Littlest Nelly brought in a great point. One of the best things about Yu Yu Hakusho, sorry, didn't mean to loop this back to Yu Yu Hakusho again, is that banger of a fucking intro. Best intro in all of anime, in my opinion.
Yeah, it does have a really good one.
Yeah.
And this is coming from a guy who sometimes, I mean, not sometimes, I'm going to be honest with you guys because I feel like we're friends. I skip anime intros and outros. I skip them every fucking time. I'm always like, I don't want to hear rock music. I'm trying to see what happens in the next episode.
Filthy. Yeah. But with the in the countryside and nation gets me again. I don't know where to go.
And on that note, number one on our countdown.
Number one on our countdown.
Been what the whole show was about in a way.
Whole show has been about the heart of the cards, trading cards. Obviously, this is the most collectible thing out there. Why? Because it's the biggest capitalism contest that you could have out there. Baseball cards may be quintessential example of trading cards, but and all their types. It may be the quintessential example of a trading card, but there are all types, like Pokemon cards, for instance. Trading cards, in general, are often valuable collectibles. You might be in luck if any of the cards in your collection are rare. In March 2016, the T206 Ty Cobb baseball card someone discovered in the trash made news after it was valued at about $1 million. Each was worth at least $150,000 according to the Washington Post. Like comic books, these fragile paper collectibles do best when they're kept in mint condition. Treat them how you would store a comic book, especially if you are dealing with a particularly rare example that could be worth millions too. A 1909-11 T206 Honus Wagner baseball card fetched $3.12 million through Golden Auctions in 2016, making it the most valuable card in history. 3 years earlier, a baseball card sold for $2.1 million. Reportedly, fewer than 200 copies of the card were ever made. Baseball cards aren't the only types of trading cards that are valuable, though, as we've seen earlier this year with Logic's six-figure Pokemon card purchase and a Charizard card that went for $183,812. First edition collection of Yu-Gi-Oh! Legacy of Darkness cards in mint condition can go for nearly $1,000 according to eBay listings, and a rare Magic the Gathering card sold for $166,000 on the site in 2019. So trading card games are definitely a hot commodity, but I think the reason that makes trading card games the best collectible is the intersectionality between collectability and practicality and like playability, right? There are trading cards, and if you really enjoy trading card games, then what you're going to get is you're going to go through and like these, you'll separate the ones that you want to play with and the ones that you want to collect. And I think that will change based on the card game, right? I think you'll feel differently about that for Magic cards. I think you'll feel differently about that for Yu-Gi-Oh cards. But that factor and that intersection, I think, is what makes trading cards the greatest collectible. Jake, how do you feel about that?
Yeah, no, I think this was definitely one of the ones that there's a reason why it was number one. I think trading cards are, when it's all said and done, I think if you were to like look at the value of each single object, I think they beat out everything. Like as far as like there are what a few dozen or hundreds of these Pokemon cards that are worth $100,000 each,
Right.
kind of a thing. And there's literally like 7 Ty Cobb baseball cards were discovered in the trash that made and those 7 cards together were worth $1 million. So like that's
how many
crazy
cards have been thrown away, man?
That's the other thing is like no lie, and this is a true story. Right before COVID and the big like kind of like Pokemon resurgence that we've seen over the COVID time period.
You can talk about your mom dumping out your cards again.
No. I was at a thrift store. I was at a thrift store and we were dropping off some clothes because a lot of thrift stores will have the area where you can donate clothes. And so like because I don't like taking them like anyway. So anyway, I donated them to like this kind of like Christian mission thing or whatever. And on the ground was like hundreds of Pokemon cards, and it was clearly some kid's binder that like his parents had thrown away or something or whatever. It wasn't mine, right? And so like because this was like literally just like 2 or 3 years ago. But like I was like, damn, that sucks. That's obviously some kid's binders. I bet some of those cards will be worth something. And like I told Jessica, if they weren't in the trash, I may pick them up, but I didn't, and so I moved on. There's no telling what was in that fucking binder. I should have looked at least. So like when everything started to blow up again, I was like, God damn it! I bet that.
I should have looked at that fucking binder.
Someone
so,
reported me to find a rare card.
But yeah, no. So I think about that a lot. Is like think about some of these, and I would say that's probably even true for some Star Wars stuff. I would say it's true for a lot of like things that we pay a lot for, as far as like memorabilia is concerned. There's probably a bunch of it sitting in the Staten Island dump somewhere.
I mean,
like
I wish that I hadn't been using my like prop lightsaber especially from when the prequels came out and stuff, to just beat the shit out of my brother, and actually like saved it and set it aside. I might have got some money out of it.
When I was a kid, one time I thought that I could open the box, and if I was careful and I just played with the toys for a little bit and then put them back into the box, that I would be okay.
Right.
And like, it wasn't until I got older that like I was like, I came to the realization, oh no, as soon as you open that box, Jake,
right.
They were
toothpaste tube situation,
exactly.
One of those things. Cape, how do you feel about trading cards making number 1 on the countdown?
I think it's very much our generation.
Yeah.
That's what I've come to the conclusion of after thinking about all these. And you guys saying it probably is worth less when it comes out of the box. It reminds me of like coins. People try to clean coins and they're worth less. When you clean the coin, it's actually worth less because it doesn't have that Penta. I forgot what it's called on it. With the black stuff. But anyways, I think it's our generation is what I want to get at. I think it's fitting, not just because it's the theme of the show, but I think it's very fitting for this generation as a whole. And we're kind of taking it to our generation, personally.
Yeah, absolutely. So that will do it for our countdown. That will for our honorable mentions, though. We have tons of honorable mentions, and yes, Lucifer, NFTs are in our honorable mentions. Just calm fuck down. We got them. They're in there. They didn't make the countdown, but NFTs are in there. Starbucks cups are a thing people collect. Jake, you were telling me that you're well aware of the Starbucks cup trend and collecting it. What's that all about?
My girlfriend Jessica loves Starbucks cups. That's one of the things that she every time we go to Starbucks, she has to look and see what cups are dropping. She's actually a part of this little this whole thing called the Leaf Rakers Society on Facebook. That's literally a whole it's mostly women who are dedicated, mostly white women, finding Starbucks cups, and they fucking love them, man. Like some of them go too hard. Like Jessica, she's okay. We've got probably about a dozen of them.
What is going too hard to get a collectible Starbucks cup look like?
Dude, some of them will do like crazy scalper shit, like backdoor access. Like they'll have a friend that works at Starbucks that'll sell them to them, and then they'll resell them. There's people who will go and buy all of them up to where Starbucks literally had to start making rules at some places where you can only buy so many, just like Pokemon cards, bro. Yeah. Literally people, if there's something to go crazy over during the pandemic, people just decided to go full fucking tilt. And so and so Starbucks
they really did.
They're hot. They're a hot commodity.
Yeah. No, that's
go
that's
to your
a big
local
one.
Starbucks next time it has a drop, and you'll know. You'll know
see.
Because people will be asking. There'll be people coming in and looking for them. You'll see some lady who you probably didn't want to wear a mask during COVID, but maybe did because her friends would make her feel bad for it. She's in there yelling about some cup that they sold out of.
Yeah.
Guaranteed.
What an apt description.
I paint pictures.
You do paint pictures. All right, so some other honorable mentions: coins and currency, classic cars, the classic cars, the collection for the uber rich. Well, there's a lot of these that are some of the collection for the uber rich. Movie props. You don't collect authentic movie props without dropping some pretty fucking coin.
Like Cape said, the fucking actual like a held prop from Han Solo blaster sold for $500,000. Like that's not something
Crazy.
that your average Joe, a small loan of $500,000.
They need to realize that it doesn't work.
Yeah, it
doesn't work like it does in the movie.
But there are a lot of, I would say, collectibles that are for the ultra rich. Classic cars being one. That's the. And, I mean, jewelry, which is another one that's on our countdown. Like
our honorable mentions,
Yeah, obviously, like jewelry is a big thing that a lot of people collect, and there's certain collectors. Tiffany's. There's people out there that collect Tiffany's.
Weaponry. Fig pins is one that's really going up in popularity. I've seen a lot of fig pins, and those are pretty fun to collect. I've got a collectible fig pin from
the little pins that like vinyl pin.
I'll show you what they are.
Like, the Supreme hoodie teddy bear that Jake for sure should own. Oh yeah, those things.
Yeah, I like them. I think they're fun. They're a fun little other thing to collect.
Beanie Babies should have made the countdown.
Beanie Babies should have made the countdown. Beanie Babies and Stuffies, plushies, those would have been one, and I think that was the one that
squishable back here too.
Right, squishable. Those are crazy. The squishmallows. That's what it is. Yeah. Those are super hot.
Different things I never knew about.
Yeah, those are ones that that honestly this countdown was lacking. Was the plushie side, and I think that some of the other ones like belt buckles and Pez dispensers took their spot, and so those were the controversial picks.
We have to cause controversy.
Right, we have to cause controversy, and Cape had to have his belt buckles. So I'm kidding. Belt buckles is actually a good one. I give you shitting on it, but commemorative coin collecting, lightsabers. Comic book figurines, statues, and busts. That's a whole nother thing other than outside of Funko Pops.
And they're expensive too. I don't know if you guys have ever walked into a GameStop or a comic book store and looked at some of the figurines, but like they look amazing. Don't get me wrong, but then
but they start at like $200 a pop.
No, that's what I was gonna say. And then I'll look and it'll be like $300 for this dope ass Batman action figure essentially, and it's not even an action figure. It's because it's a sculpture.
It's sculpture. It stays there. It just collects dust.
I don't know, buddy.
I look at them now as like this looks complicated to dust.
This looks
this looks too complicated to dust. Like when you have the capes going and billowing up behind it. I was like, what am I gonna stick a towel through there, or how do I?
Am I gonna get a Q-tip? Fuck
Q-tip, right?
Who does this bust think I am?
Right. To just maintain.
Make sure you put that in a UV case. Make sure it does have no sunlight to it. Like what?
Right. Yeah. Like that just seems it's a lot. It's a lot.
GameStop would eventually shut down, so I could find one and be like, "Hey, how much for all this shit?"
Right. Right. No, I'm totally. I was waiting for GameStop to hit the Blockbuster stage.
Yeah.
Right.
Where they start trying to give you shit for
free. And you can be like, hey, you're like, oh, Blockbuster's going out of business, and you're like, oh yeah, no, that really sucks.
Oh, other people
I think you can get like Destroy All Humans for like $3 at there. Like, oh, dude, really? I'm gonna go do that.
I was about to say, I don't think some of our viewers may know, but when Blockbuster was a thing and they started to shut down, if you had a Blockbuster near you, when it closed, they sold almost like all their pop culture shit they had in there and all that stuff. For
games, movies,
super cheap, everything. And so, like, I remember I went to my local Blockbuster and fucked them up. They even had candy for like half off. Like, and so I bought a bunch of Reese's and
Incubus used to work at Blockbuster. Look at that.
Hey, wow. Shout out to the OGs.
Yeah, for real. Well, Speaking of shout out to the OGs, that's a I was going to try to say OT. No, just end it. We're done.
At the end of the show.
We're at the end of the show, guys. I was trying to pull something there, but it wasn't working. That will wrap it up for this episode of Geek Life. Remember, you guys can always find us on all of our social medias. You can find that in the bio below. There's a big link tree. You can find our TikTok. You can find our Twitch. You can find our Twitter. All those good things. Definitely go check out those things. If you're a longtime fan and you've been here for a while, make clips, share them out with your friends. That's the best way. Just to let somebody know about the show. That's the best way to get it out there. Hopefully the next show will have less technical difficulties because we won't have the person hosting also streaming. But right, double duty. You can find, if you want to find me on Twitter or Twitch, you can find me at Roose Bane, WRUSE_BANE. Jake, where can they find you?
You can find me at Gonzo Gone Live on both the Twitch and the Twitterverse.
And the
at
Doodler?
Jake Tyler on TikTok.
Oh, wait,
You can
sorry.
find me on Twitch and at Twitter on Caperdoodle. You can also find my TikTok at Doodle Dandy.
Yeah, and there's been a lot of cool stuff going on your stream lately, bud. You did like an Art Deco game night yesterday. That was really fun.
Yeah.
With I think
I've been.
I think one of the people you were doing it with was in chat earlier. Miss a lot.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, I love that's
Yeah.
a very clever name. I dig that.
Yeah.
No, your stream is looking good. Definitely have some cool elements on there. But you sent them to me, very 80s vibe-ish, or like
Art
Deco.
Deco.
When I'm just there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did
Yeah.
Art Deco for just to have, and me and Dodd talked about it. I'm just playing with design is all. So
Yeah.
I mean, whoever
Oh,
shows
and
up,
and the
shows
Be
up.
Kind Rewind stuff, that's got a big 80s vibe. I dig it. I like what you've been doing with it. So definitely go check out Caperdoodle if you haven't yet. Thank you so much to Lucifer's Lab, gifting subs out. And from Mariana946 and Just Jess followed 4 hours ago as well. Kira Wolfire, thank you guys so much. Everybody for the
Thanks
follows
to
today.
Caperdoodle for the sub.
Thank you to Caperdoodle for the sub. Thank you to me for producing. I was a fabulous producer. No, I wasn't actually. That was really hard to do all that at one time, guys. I'm not doing that again.
I think it still worked out really well.
Thank you. You guys are nice. You guys are too nice. But yeah.
He's like, I'm never doing this again.
I'm not from the host's point. I will go ahead and tell you guys that if I'm here, I will not be doing that part again. But we still managed to make it work, so that's good. And we got so many people that stuck around with us throughout the whole thing. So shout out to the Nerd Herd. Shout out to your resilience for all this stuff and sticking through our random rambling. Shout out to our moderator, Littlest Nelly, keeping the chat going the entire time for us. Thank you guys so much for your support. Anything else, guys, you got?
No, I mean, Logan Paul just sent about 25 shots to Mayweather, and none of them connected. So I'm excited to dive into that fight after this.
All right, well, let's see how that fight goes. We'll catch you guys later. Same time, same place, the next time we do this thing. Peace.
Oh, yeah. Peace.